Hey! I'm back! Welcome to the Benji channel. My name is Benji, and today we must discuss one of the most hypest chapters of One Piece of all time. And yes, I do say that a lot, but this is very much different. And before I begin, I do want to address the elephant in the room. Benji, where have you been? Because on the channel, you've missed the last 4 One Piece chapters. Unfortunately. Why am I speaking in the third person? Anyways, and I'm sorry, I do apologize that I haven't posted in the last 4 weeks, but I do have a very good reason. The sole reason is I'm broke. Nah, but seriously, I have been dealing with some issues with the computer as far as editing. I was able to kind of maneuver a couple things in order to kind of get this video out there. Hopefully, cross your fingers. But that's really the sole purpose of why I haven't uploaded in a very long time. But forget all that. I'll catch you up to speed with what has been happening within One Piece in this video. But make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the Benji channel. I usually make One Piece chapter reviews and One Piece discussion videos weekly. And also subscribe to the best anime podcast there is, Geek Giant Podcast. As well as join the Discord. But no more wasting any more time. Let's go ahead and begin with today's chapter review of One Piece chapter 1079, The Red-Haired Pirates. But of course, before we begin, let's kind of give some pretense of what happened in the last couple of chapters. First off, York is a traitor. Secondly, the Seraphim are actually pretty strong, except for when it comes to the GOAT, Sanji. Usopp went out pretty sad. Not really, but kind of. Robin and Nami are still top tier waifus, and Seraphim Mihawk has confirmed that Mihawk is actually a fraud. But other than that, that's about it. But the biggest thing that happened, and it's actually pertaining to this very chapter, is the fact that Shanks is in Elbaf. And he's about to be met by the 3 billion berry bounty, Eustace Kid. And that is what this chapter is all about. So the chapter begins with York, who we do find out is a traitor in the previous chapter. And really quick, I know she's a traitor, but she does look kind of cute in this panel while she's eating a piece of meat. Pause. Anyways, we actually see how she was able to give orders to the Seraphim to have them betray the Straw Hats and the other Vegapunks, and basically sabotage the Straw Hats' mission. She was even clever enough to go ahead and give the order to Seraphim Boa to go ahead and petrify her along with the other Straw Hats when she was attacking, in order to make it seem like she is not a traitor. But during this flashback conversation, we actually see that York has something very interesting to say. And she says this: "Inside the lab, I'll tell you the places not to destroy." Now, this could possibly be nothing at all, but on the other hand, we do know that York wants to be a celestial dragon, hence why she basically betrayed all of her Seraphim counterparts. And the fact of the matter is, maybe there's certain parts of the lab that she wants to distinctly show to the celestial dragons, or more importantly, Saturn, once they actually arrive. We then later see that S Snake is ready to go on a hunt, and I'm pretty sure this is presuming to kind of kill all of the other Vegapunks like York had ordered. We cut to Sentomaru, who has made the lab workers aware that Egghead is about to turn into Ohara 2.0, and they gotta get out of here before shit gets really bad. And this kind of emboldens the theory that this Egghead arc is not only going to last a little bit longer than we anticipated, but we could very well see one of the biggest battles that we've ever seen within One Piece. But anyways, we just see frantic workers preparing to leave the island. But next up, we start off with just a little bit of hype, and we actually see none other than a ship coming towards Egghead, and it seems to have the flag of the Blackbeard Pirates. Now, before we start overreacting, Soma, I do want to go ahead and put this out there. I do think that the Blackbeard Pirates, or at least the ship that Blackbeard was actually using when he actually encountered Law, seems to have had a little bit more damage than the one that we actually see in this chapter. As well as, from the looks of it, we do kind of see a sword-looking object within the top of the ship. And I'm almost I'm almost positive that it's probably Shiryu commanding that ship or something of that nature, along with maybe another Blackbeard pirate member as well. So I'm not saying, and like I said, I'm not saying this right now. Like, I don't think this is Blackbeard, but I don't think this is Blackbeard, if that makes sense. And also, just saying this right now, if I do see Blackbeard say room, Oda, I'm coming for you, my guy. You and me are going to have to throw hands, my guy. Anyways, enough with the preliminary stuff. Let's get straight into the hype. We see Kid and Killer on the entrance to Elbaf, and they seem kind of annoyed because they are met by the first line of defense for the red-haired pirates. Pretty mid-tier fleet captains. Kid even takes this as a joke, and he even asks whether or not they're still in the new world. But Killer brings him down to earth and lets him know not to let his guard down. Unfortunately, this doesn't help Kid at all, and you'll see why. We then cut to Big Dog Shanks, and he's ordering his crew to go ahead and clear out all of the fleet ships. He doesn't want any of his subordinates to get hurt from this potential battle. And before Shanks seems to depart, he actually is bombarded by a lot of his followers, I guess you could say. But funny enough, the farther fleet members that we actually see before seem to be pretty content for the fact that they are weak, simply for the fact that they are protected by none other than Red-Haired himself. And this is pretty dope for the fact that Shanks' first introduction to the story, it kind of extends all the way out here within chapter 1079 to his actual fleet. He's always there to protect people, especially people who are close to him. We then see Lucky Roo, who then immediately lets Shanks know that they will take care of Kid and his crew. But even Shanks understands not to underestimate the new generation of pirates. Now this is pretty dope. Check this out. Shanks then asks Yasopp whether or not their wounds had healed up from the recent battle in Wano. Yasopp simply replies that they look fine to him and they seem to be itching for battle. Shanks says if that's the case, then fine. And this kind of gives Shanks more personality. Shanks is willing to kind of gauge the power that he's willing to use against this new generation of pirates, especially after their tremendous victory in Wano. Shanks walks to Hongo and basically asks him an off-topic question, and he asks for an update on the Blackbeard pirates. And turns out the reason that Shanks even showed up to Wano in the first place was to intercept Blackbeard and his crew. Meaning two things. For one, this means that Shanks was not ducking any kind of smoke. In essence, he was actually looking for the smoke. Now, this could also mean that Blackbeard was also in pursuit of more poneglyphs from Kaido himself, meaning that Blackbeard was prepared to raid Kaido. But from the looks of it, Shanks doesn't really even know who Kid actually is. And especially for the fact that this would be their first meetup, especially since last time, because, Kid didn't even get to see Shanks last time, so there's that. We then cut to Kid and Killer, who are preparing for battle, and they are counting how many ships that the red-haired pirates actually have. But then Kid engages one of his most devastating and powerful attacks that he used in last arc, his damned punk, which he says will annihilate the ships that the red-haired pirates have. Gravity is then pulled in by Kid's Devil Fruit, and this doesn't go unnoticed by Shanks whatsoever, and he then commands none other than Drory and Brogy, who we do know are in Elbaf currently, to have his back. We see a panel fast forwarding what would happen if Kid is actually able to unleash this attack. And the reason why we see a fast forward is the fact that Shanks is able to use his future sight to evaluate the damage that Kid will cause if he unleashes his attack. And Shanks even seems pretty impressed that they will do this much damage. But before Kid can even unleash his attack, Shanks appears right in front of his face. And with an outstanding degree of hockey, more so Conqueror's hockey, we get to see our first sight of Shanks' first ever attack in One Piece. Divine Departure. An attack that has only been used by none other than the late great Gol D. Roger, the Pirate King. And the damage that it does is unparalleled to almost anything that we have seen in the series of One Piece. And it's almost poetic how the very first attack that we ever get to see from Shanks is directly linked to his former captain, Gol D. Roger. And this just adds more hype to how strong Shanks truly is, especially for the fact that this first attack that Shanks has ever used, it one-shotted Kid. Now, I know I'm ahead of what happens actually in the chapter, but if we're gonna be honest, I actually did have stocks in Kid this year. And I lost all of my hard-earned money. And I find it kind of funny the fact that Kid lost his arm never being able to see Shanks in the first place. But then the first time that he actually sees Shanks face to face, Shanks could very well be the very last thing that Kid ever sees after this chapter. So there's that. But anyway, Shanks' attack devastates the Kid's pirates. Fodder gets knocked out because of how strong Shanks' conqueror's hockey actually is. And we see Shanks board the Kid's pirate ship, and he looks like Franklin from Snowfall. A true OG. And we see Kid and Killer, who actually got part of the blast, and they look completely wasted. Now this next part is too funny, especially since it comes from Heat, the third in command of the Kid's pirates, especially since he was trying to slander my guys Sanji and Wano. But basically him, as well as the other Kid crew members, are all crying, and they say this: "We forfeit, Red Hair, please don't kill our boss." Oh man, this is really bad. They say, "We forfeit, Red Hair, please don't kill our boss. Here are our poneglyphs. This is all we have." Oh shit. This is Usopp levels of cowardice. And Usopp is supposed to be, a coward. That's his character. The fact of the matter is, these are supposed to be the big bad 3 billion berry bounty crew that just came back from Wano, and they're basically just like, hey, Shanks, here you go, man. We don't want no smoke. So I just find that hilarious. But the fact that the first ever attack that we see from Shanks literally one-shotted Kid. And there was a lot of talks that even I thought that Kid was going to put up some kind of fight. I mean, basically he just said, okay, I know damn punk, I'm going to use that. And then Shanks was like, nah. We're not letting that happen, big dog, You're not that guy. You're not that guy. And it's just so interesting to me to see how Shanks kind of operates, kind of how he moves, especially with his crew as well as his fleet and just the people around him, around his territory in Elbaf. And it's also funny the fact that, we got so much growth from Kid, starting back from not really seeing him within the time skip, or literally since Sabaody, the stuff that happened to Sabaody. And the fact of the matter is, he has such a great showing. And to come back with maybe a lot of confidence, maybe too much confidence, and to get completely wiped out by one single attack that I don't even think is Shanks' strongest attack is absolutely insane to me. But, I digress. But Dory and Brogy both prepare an attack that completely wipes out the Kid's pirates cruise ship. A sovereignty attack similar to the one that Kaido and Big Mom did in Wano. And it completely rips through the entirety of the Kid's pirate ship. And we end the chapter with these words from our narrator. And he says this: "In Elbaf New World, the Kid's pirates, headed by Eustace Kid with a 3 billion berry bounty, were utterly destroyed." But we have a break week next week, but who honestly cares? I really feel like this chapter alone is going to fuel us for this break week. And can very much be considered one of the greatest One Piece chapters of all time. I don't think I'm scared to say that, honestly. The ending is amazing too, seeing such a terrifying look on Shanks' face after he's completely ruined Kid's dream. But I will say this, Kid kind of deserved this at the end of the day, especially for that way that he just pulled up to Shanks' territory. You can't just pull up to Shanks of all people and simply just go guns a-blazing thinking that you're going to take over Elbaf and steal his poneglyphs. Like Luffy, he's pretty reckless, but he has his crew to keep him from doing really dumb stuff. And then Law, on the other hand, is pretty smart and usually goes into situations with at least some kind of plan or strategic action. But like, what was Kid's plan here? Just to go into Elbaf with all of Shanks' niggas, and expect to come out alive with the poneglyphs in his territory? Like, I don't know. It's crazy. And the fact of the matter is, I actually had stocks in Kid. I'm actually a Kid fan. I actually really enjoyed his character after Wano. And the fact that he got decimated, annihilated, destroyed, bodied in one single attack. One attack! It's crazy to me, man. I don't know if this is Kid disrespect or Shanks hype. I mean, obviously, I'm super hyped for Shanks because I'm a huge Shanks fan. But the fact of the matter is, for Kid to get bodied like this, and there were spoilers or full summaries that came out before the chapter actually released. And the full summary and the spoilers, they seem bad. But once that chapter hit, it got 10 times worse. Seeing these guys beg Shanks to save their life and be like, and you just see Kid and Killer both smacked, on the ground of their own ship with Shanks standing over them. Oh my God. Wow. It's funny, but it ain't. It's funny, but it's not. But man, I don't know, this chapter itself, it really may have been one of my favorite chapters, definitely of this year, but of all time. I mean, this is Shanks' first attack, and I know a lot of people have been speculating about Shanks' capabilities as a fighter, or as somebody within One Piece. There's a lot of hype surrounded by Shanks, and I think this was a way to introduce Shanks the best way possible. Now, maybe not one shot him, but damn, like a one shot is crazy. I really don't think we've ever seen a dismantling of such a character in this capacity before, especially after Wano. The fact that Kid was able to get a 3 billion berry bounty, he did his thing with law in order to defeat Big Mom, and for this to happen is absolutely crazy. So I don't know. It's Shanks' piece. It's Shanks' piece. Now, let me also address this. I'm tired of these leeches, these Mihawk fans trying to siphon off some of this hype because of Shanks. They're two different entities, They're not the same. Mihawk had to go extreme death with Vista. Stop playing with me, bro. Shanks is out here one-shotting 3 billion berry bounty individuals. They're not the same. They're not the same. They're not. Stop it. You need help if you think so. But I digress. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I know this was kind of a long chapter review and I have been away for a little while, but I do hope that you guys really enjoyed this chapter review. And are you hyped that this was the first introduction to Shanks finally being serious in battle? I would love to know. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.